All right, everybody. So you guys saw that foolishness. You know, you've heard me mention it before on my channel that typically when we are dealing with women, we have to handle them with kid gloves. And this is another example. This woman freaks out on this airplane because her boyfriend broke up with her. And by the looks of things, he broke up with her justifiably so. She was probably freaking out and acting crazy prior to them getting on this plane. But she gets on the plane, she freaks out, and you see people are like, they're nervous to even turn around and look at her. Like everybody just keeps their head forward. They don't want to make the situation worse. They don't want to upset this person more. And it's like not a single person tells this woman to shut up and lock it in. You don't see any security come over there and hit this girl with a clothesline and put her on the deck like they should have. Like everybody is flying through the air in this tin can. And now all of a sudden we got to let this chick hold us all hostage. Utter and complete foolishness. Take the kid gloves off and choke slam this chick. Now, if you ask me, this guy, I completely understand why he did this. Get this girl on the no-fly list. Like, she's probably 100% going to end up on the no-fly list from freaking out like this. But, like, just think about this. Think about if a man did this. Everybody on that plane would have activated and put this dude in every kind of cobra clutch, figure four, rear naked choke, whatever. They'd have hit this dude with the mandible claw. It would have been over for this guy. This is what I'm talking about when I say kid gloves. We got to stop this.
I once knew a man I was incarcerated with that was cheated on by his significant other. That told all of us in there, when I get out, I'm going to kill this woman. We all laughed and joked about it and told him he was being insecure and that woman was probably out there just enjoying her life and we really didn't consider it cheating unless he was free. He said, nah, she got me messed up. She the love of my life and she left me in here like this. She cheated on me. She deceived me. She showed a sign of being unfaithful and I can't take it. I told him, I said, bro, it's not worth you getting out and risking your freedom. He laughed and joked about it. I took it as a joke. He gets out 7 months later. I want to say maybe a year after he was free. I end up seeing him back on the yard. He had a weird number, 27 years. And when I seen him, I said, bro, you violated parole? He said, nah. I said, what happened? He said, I told you what I was going to do when I got out. Ladies, I tell y'all this to say, sometimes when these men threaten y'all life, y'all better take it serious. Because not only did that woman lose her life, but you could possibly lose yours. Free game.
All right, so it's very, very unfortunate what happened. Condolences to that lady and her family and everything like that. But here's the deal. When you deal with women like this as a man, make sure you don't deal with women like this. If you're ever in a situation where you are dating a woman and she's got a boyfriend or ex-husband or something like that in jail, don't have nothing to do with her. Because 9 out of 10, she knew what that woman or she knew what that guy was up to. She knew that that guy was up to no good and he was a criminal, whether he's selling dope or gangbanging or whatever. And she was enthralled by that. She was turned on by that. She chose that guy. And then that guy goes and gets locked up trying to impress her. Keep in mind, if he's selling dope, then that means she is benefiting from the dope sales. She is getting money. He's buying her clothes and buying her food and buying her nails and hair and all of this. She's benefiting from his illicit lifestyle. Then he goes to jail. You step into the picture. You could be the one that potentially gets deleted. I don't necessarily have sympathy for this woman because when you deal with those kinds of men, you got to take everything that comes with it. Those men aren't just going to go quietly into the night and say, oh, it's okay that you leave me. These people are unhinged. That's why he's in jail in the first place. That's why you don't deal with criminals. But we see it all the time. Women love criminals, but they don't want to accept what comes with it. So when women in the women positive space, the feminists and whatnot, when they get a hold of this, they're going to say all men are toxic when in fact, women are simply choosing the worst possible kind of men. And I'm just telling you guys, when you see those kinds of women who have that kind of history, stay away from them.
Motherfuckers be out there talking about pretty privilege out there in the world, G, like in the civilian world. You ain't never seen pretty privilege be exploited like in the army, like in the military. When a girl knows she fine, she bad as hell, and I'm not talking about some, like no, what I'm saying, no 6 or, nah, I ain't talking about no 6 or 7, and sometimes at 8 when you get the hair done. I'm talking about she wake up beautiful, man, she be having, they be having these motherfuckers in this bitch trip. I'm talking about, sure to be on some shit like this, sure to be on some shit like, I'm on my monthly, my stomach hurts. Your sergeant first class tell her, you know what, don't even show up. Don't even show up. You know how bad you gotta be for a motherfucker just be like, you know what, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker don't even check no appointment slip, nothing. They just so goddamn bad, motherfucker just let them do whatever. Just let them do whatever. Goddamn battalions, commanders, and sergeant majors and shit be coming down out their office to come see Miss Lil Fine shit. Coming all the way down to come check her out, see how she doing, see if she need help with some shit. I'm talking about, y'all don't understand, they be having these men go crazy, dog. Motherfucker see some fine shit come to the company, we get a new soldier, Miss PFC fine shit, show up, instantly, motherfuckers got you in the headlock. Motherfucker already got you in the headlock, they already got you in the shooting star press, they already got you in the full Nelson, the walls of Jericho, they're already trying to assert dominance. They're already trying to.
All right, so check this out. This dude is 100% accurate, except it goes even deeper than that. You guys always hear about sexual harassment in the military and stuff like that. And it does happen just like this. It starts kind of like this, the higher up ranking dudes, are preying on the lower ranking women, as they call it. I'm not going to say it's predatory, but, the women will say it's predatory, and, the news media will say it's predatory, but you get what I'm saying. You got higher ups messing with lower ranking women and whatnot. But in the Navy, which I was in for 10 years, I was a tech rate. And with tech rates, you do a lot of training. You got to do a lot of training, and you stand a lot of different various watches. So what ends up happening is you get to the ship and you do everything the hard way. You might have some sort of specific duty that is assigned to your job. I was a radar technician, which meant we had to do maintenance on the radars, and then we had to operate the radar. And in order to operate the radar, you got to have 100 hours of watch time, and a watch is only 4 hours. It's 4 to 8 hours. So you got to sit there as a junior radar tech, and you have to clock so many hours on watch. It's 3 to 6 months. It's crazy. So you'll have these women come in and they don't do any of that. They don't have to do any of that, because what happens is you have these guys who have no game and they can't talk to women in the real world. But when they are on the clock in the military, they have a captive audience. So instead of spitting game at these girls, they crack little stupid jokes while they're training them. So they'll train these women and they'll give them 10 times more training than what they give you, trying to impress the woman. And then what ends up happening is the woman will get the job, she'll get her qualifications signed off, and then she's standing the watch, as they call it, but she sucks. She doesn't know what she's doing. And then it'll be the guy like myself who has to step in and take all of her watches until she gets retrained. And then when she sucks even more and she can't stand the watch, they remove her from that position. That's when she says, oh, it's sexual harassment. They were grooming me. No, it wasn't. You wanted the easy way out. You took the easy way out. Y'all know what y'all all knew what it was. Everybody was playing the game. And then somebody who was actually qualified stepped in when you couldn't carry the load and you couldn't cut it. Somebody had to actually step in and do your job. So what ends up happening is they bounce these women off the ship. If it's the Army, they move them off the post to someplace else and they strip them of their job. And then that's when you hear it in the military news, and you hear it on Fox that this woman got sexually harassed and they fired her from her job and all of this and all of that. When in reality, this woman knew exactly what she was doing. She was using her body to further her career, and the rubber met the road, and they needed her to do her job, and she couldn't do it, and somebody else stepped up, did her job, and that's what got her and the dude fired. They never mentioned that the other dude gets fired too, but it's a whole crap storm, and this dude is 100% right. If a woman is really good looking in the military, she is going to get away with absolute manslaughter.
Okay, this weird incel thing of men that comment on my videos being like, you only have a short time to be pretty and you have 10 years and then you're done. Okay, well, I've never had work done, so I've looked this way my whole life, and I'm gonna continue to, because I'm not gonna do a bunch of crazy things to my face, because I enjoy my natural beauty that God blessed me with. Literally, like, dude, I just went and got, ironically, shout out to the haters, like a half syringe in my lips, and then Botox in my forehead. My forehead, literally, look at how shiny it is. There are no wrinkles right now. Like, that is what I'm fucking paying for, baby, because that looks soaking good on.
You guys know what's crazy about this woman? This woman and the woman that's in the video with her sitting off to the left in the black hat. These women are like these conservative tradcon type women. Like, they do all this content and they'll be in their little dresses and they'll be baking pies in the kitchen and stuff like that. Except they like to get really dolled up and you know, be really girly and stuff. Just like this dude is kind of exposing this woman for getting all the face fillers and the lip fillers and the Botox and everything like that. You know, the women themselves kind of crap on the women on the left, the Democrats and the liberals, for doing all the, you know, all the makeup and all of that stuff, basically chopping their face up and looking like a doll. They kind of come down on those women, but they do the exact same thing. They just do it to a slightly less extent. But here's the funny thing. These women, these two women, not just these two women, but the women in the conservative space, they're all the same. I don't know if you guys know a woman named Lily Gaddis. She went viral a couple years ago for basically just saying the N-word. She was in her kitchen and she was like baking a pie or baking something. She was making something in her kitchen in her little sundress, trying to do the tradcon role. And she was basically saying that all of her friends are with broke N-words. And because this woman is white as the pure driven snow, she goes super viral. She makes some content after that. She ends up getting invited to the Republican National Convention, and she got a train ran on her. It's like they're all the same. Every single one of them.
Here's some crazy research for you. So a third of men, 33%, a little over a third of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got a question for the men, because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner.
You know, it's really crazy when women say stuff like this, because they'll be like, I don't understand why men are walking away. It's so hard to date. And it's like, women don't really have any realistic concept of what dating is, because they see it from their perspective, where they just sit back and wait for a guy to come to them. And typically, if they're online, if they're on Instagram or anything like that, they can get dozens and dozens and dozens of men to look at them, compliment them, even send them money. They're getting hundreds of men to validate them, and then they want to manifest that validation in the real world. The problem is their real world behavior has driven every man away, and their real world behavior is so obnoxious and ridiculous that men are just, they understand that the juice ain't worth the squeeze. So now they're all of a sudden they're seeing this, and now they're hopping on the internet and they're talking about, well, where are you guys going? We need to talk more. No, we've been trying to talk. And y'all called us misogynists, and y'all called us everything in the book. And now that men are walking away, it's an issue now. Now that y'all are finally feeling the sting, it's an issue. As far as I'm concerned, it's a day late and a dollar short. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. If you talk to a woman, you're going to be seen as a creep. If you approach her in the gym, you're going to be seen as a creep. If you're not over 6 foot, you're going to be seen as a creep. If you don't make over 120K after taxes, you're going to be seen as broke. And then all of these women are getting accessed by hundreds of men by the time they're even 25. So it's like, what exactly am I dating at this point?
I'm not trying to be an asshole. This is a genuine question. Those red pill guys, the ones who like worship Andrew Tate and who's the other guy? Joe Rogan. Why don't y'all marry men? Like, I'm so serious. There's probably about 100 guys on my Instagram that I have restricted, and they just leave nasty ass comments on everything I post. And then when I see other women in the military, they're posting the same stuff on their page. Like, I have one picture from a vacation in Italy where I'm in a bikini, and I have so many comments saying I'm a slut, I'm a whore, I'm a terrible person. But then those same men comment on that one influencer who runs on a treadmill in ranger panties and shirtless. They're like, yeah, you go, man, you get it. The question, and I'm so serious, like, why don't you just marry men? Like, why don't you date men? And I've seen so many videos, like, there was one where this guy said, like, he was on vacation with his girlfriend, he was just excited the entire time to go home to the boys. Like, you're not into women at this point. Like, I'm trying to figure out, why don't you just marry men?
All right, people. So you guys heard this woman and her ridiculous argument. I'm sure if you watch TV, if you watch any kind of social media, if you're on Instagram, TikTok, if you are on YouTube, if you've watched any kind of man positive content, if you watched any kind of dating content, you have heard this argument before. Essentially, what this woman is asserting is that if you in any way, shape, or form seek to hold women accountable, then you hate women. If you look at women and you judge how they dress, if you judge how they handle themselves in certain situations, if you look at their diet, if you look at their religious beliefs or their political beliefs, and you disagree with anything, however slight, then you hate women. This woman is essentially saying you are not allowed to judge women negatively in any way, in any shape, or in any form. Otherwise, it's considered hatred. Now, this is a very tired argument, and every feminist, every womanist, every woman positive speaker has this same argument. And they back the argument by basically saying, you're gay. You don't like women and you're gay. Those things always walk hand in hand. You're holding me accountable in some form, in some fashion. Therefore, not only do you hate women, but you're also gay. Now, the reason that they say this, first and foremost, they say the whole hatred part because women don't want to be held accountable in any way, shape, or form. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want you looking at their actions and saying you need to be better. And what they do is they say, you hate us. They use the word hate because that's like the strongest emotion. That's the strongest negative emotion. And if you hate women as a man, there's always the chance that you might take some sort of action in regard to that hate. You might actually go hurt them. And that is true. There are men out there who hate women and then they go do something about it and they harm women. So that's true, but it's very much overblown, and they kind of use that as their trump card, and they just say, oh, you disagree with us, therefore you hate us. You're holding us accountable, therefore you hate us. Now, the next thing they do is they say you're gay. You are disagreeing with women. You made a comment that's negative towards women, or women perceive it negatively. You're doing something that women don't like. You're making an observation and we don't agree with your observation. Therefore, you're gay. You just need to go over there and be with men because you're gay. They always associate male dissatisfaction with women with homosexuality. Always. Now, you guys have to understand, you got to read between the lines. When they do this, what's really transpiring is they're essentially reducing themselves to sex objects. They're essentially saying the only value we could possibly have is sexual value, because men might want to associate with women on a great many levels. You might be correcting her behavior because you want to have a positive association with her scholastically. You might want to have a positive association with her legally. You might want to have a positive association with her from a professional standpoint. Maybe you think that she might be a good business partner. Maybe you're trying to build her up as an underling on the job. Whatever the case might be, we know if you have a child, you chastise the child when you know the child is going astray. If you are a subordinate, if you're a senior and you have subordinates and you want them to do well, you correct their behavior in order to get the best out of them and in order to do the best for them. So you could be simply doing what's best for this woman. But what does she say? You hate me and you're gay. That's because in her mind, She's not supposed to be held accountable, number one. And number two, her only value to you is sexual. She reduced herself in that regard. The only thing that makes you gay is who you choose to have sex with, right? Okay, well, you're essentially saying that I'm gay because I don't want to have sex with you. What if I don't want to have sex with you? What if I don't see you like that? What if I just want what's best for you? I don't want to have sex with my friend just because I have an intervention with him and tell him to stop gambling and tell him to stop drinking and doing drugs. I simply want what's best for you. But they always want to make things as negative as possible, and they always want to call men gay. They want to hit you as hard as you possibly can. Questioning your manhood by calling you gay is one of the hardest, most heavy-hitting things that they can do. And saying that you hate women and, kind of having you painted as a threat is a secondary thing that they can do. Both of those things have major social impacts, and they even could have, legal impacts in certain regards. So don't take this kind of stuff too serious. It's their bread and butter argument, and you're never going to hear the end of that one.